The views and opinions expressed in these historical letters that may contain vernacular used in the World War II era, the post-war era, and the Cold War era do not reflect the views and opinions of any of the individuals involved with this project, including, but not limited to, the podcast's creators.
Hey, Allison.
Hey, Jamie.
We're wearing the same clothes we wore last episode.
Suspicious, ain't it?
This is how we operate. We do whatever we want because it's our podcast.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And if I want to wear the same shirt 2 days in a row, I'm going to wear the same shirt. But how are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm getting ready to go to the movies this evening.
That's right.
Yeah. 3-hour movie. My friend really wants to see The Odyssey. I'm just, for the life of me, like, let's make this clear to a lot of people here. I worked at Blockbuster. I love movies. The Oscars are my Super Bowl. And I'm just like not feeling it with seeing The Odyssey. I'm sure it'll be a great movie. I'm sure like the special effects, it's worth it for seeing it in the big screen. And I like listening to the composer's score, which might not be everybody's like first thing they're thinking about when going to see this movie, but I love Ludwig Göransson, so like cool. It is like a 3-hour movie, and I'm really wondering, can Matt Damon disappear into a role, or am I just going to be like, so this is The Odyssey and Matt Damon is in ancient Greece? Is that going to be like the entire movie that he doesn't I hope he disappears into the role. I'm rooting for it. Matt, I'm rooting for you that you disappear into this role. Because otherwise, this is going to be Matt Damon and The Odyssey.
No, I get it. I totally get it. I have that problem with Daniel Radcliffe.
Mm-hmm.
I have that problem with him too. I really try. He's actually a phenomenal actor, and I think actually Matt Damon is really, really awesome too. But you're right. It's like that's Matt Damon.
Yeah,
I know. Time. I'll be curious to see how it fared.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So I'll give the verdict next episode.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I've heard great things. Honestly, I've actually heard so I'm hoping that it's really it'll be fun anyway. Trust me.
On record, I already saw Spider-Man twice though. I'm part of that box office biggest ever. I guess maybe some people aren't listening to the news. 360 million, biggest ever opening weekend domestically of all time. Just beat Avengers Endgame. And it's on track. I'm rooting for it. It's a good movie. I still love Tobey Maguire movies better, but like still for the Tom Holland films, this is a good film. It's also really funny that what is it? Zendaya, Tom Holland, and John Bernthal, which star in Spider-Man, are also starring in The Odyssey. So they're out at the same time. And there was like this funny thing online where a whole bunch of people dressed up as Spider-Man went to the ticket counter to buy movie tickets, and they're like, we'd like to see the Tom Holland, Zendaya, and John Bernthal movie, and they're like, oh, you want to go see Spider-Man? They were like, no, we want to watch The Odyssey. So it's like crazy for his career. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Apparently, I think like, what is it, Monday and Tuesday? See, this is how much I love movies, because I can go on about this for a while. It made 90 million or something in like a Monday, Tuesday showing. Showings are selling out. So here's the new goal. It hasn't gotten there yet. It's already passed $1 billion at this point. The highest worldwide gross over $2 billion is Avengers Endgame. It's now like tempting this. I mean, this movie, as of this week, this is the second weekend we're going into, so it all really depends on what happens in the second weekend. But the domestic box office record is held by Star Wars Force Awakens for domestic highest box office total. And it's going to be flirting with it. I think it's going to be, we might get there. It all depends.
That's interesting. And it's also interesting. You just like know this stuff right off the top of your head.
It's my YouTube algorithm. It tells me these things, but I know like Odyssey, the last I checked, it's over 900 million. So nice job, Tom Holland and Zendaya and John Bernthal and everybody else, and Matt Damon. So
you gotta
Matt
give
Damon
credit
and the
to,
Odyssey. That's how I'm going to see this in my head, unless he could disappear into the role.
Well, I'm fingers crossed for you. I'm sure you'll have a good time tonight. Yeah. I'm sure you'll have a good time anyway. But, so this is, we are in September of the letters. We are in September of 1952 with the letters. And we have been waiting for Chester and Laura, and we're just going to go ahead and get it out of the way. They're not there. Nope. And they ain't coming right now. So
not right now.
And because like, it's honestly like, I'm like, this is old hat at this point. And she said, like, in our last letter, she's like, I'm used to that putting off thing.
Yep.
But this goes directly against Lou's. It goes directly against his personality and how he is, to not have them come at a certain time and for him to like have to be waiting. And then she's also like, hey, they're my parents and they're not here. So it's just it's rough. And so now she's was hoping that they would be there for the summertime. And now Lewis is in school.
Yep.
So there you go. Now there's no, like, it's going to be a lot different. And she does not see, I would be of the mindset that if we were to go down to they were supposed to spend a week. They were invited to spend a week with the Browns at the shore. And she's like, no. And I'm like, take him out of school. Take him out of school and take him to hang out with his family at the beach for a week. It's okay. But she does not operate that way.
No.
She's like, no, he will go to school. And so this is how they are. So yeah, there we are. It's September and Lewis has started back to school. We still don't know anything about what's going on with Chester and Laura. And so we're hoping today to get some update on that, or maybe even just like a little bit of like, oh, we think a little October.
Hope. We'd like a little something.
Just
something
anything.
Planned. Yeah. We'll see.
363 North Main Street, Doylestown, Pennsylvania, September 13th, 1952. Dear family, this will have to be brief, but my conscience has been giving me so much trouble that I've got to get a note off to you today, even if it is short and unsatisfactory in the long run. Have meant to write daily, but there is the usual amount of chores to do, plus added ones that I didn't suspect existed. Among other things, school has begun, and I'm much cheered by the prospects of a more satisfactory year than last. And certainly there is more enthusiasm on Lewis's part, and that is no small factor, as you well know. He started on the 8th, and after the first week, he is much pleased with things, and I see more interest and willingness, and so wonder if I weren't overly anxious to begin with. His teacher is very nice, a married lady, Mrs. Haldeman, and while I haven't had occasion to talk with her yet, she does follow some specifications Lewis laid down, one of which is no glasses. I didn't know he was particular enough to notice. Business has been slow. I assume that part of it is the extra activities of getting the kids back in school, and part of it has been the cold and wet weather. But yesterday there were several calls, and we have acquired some new pieces that I just can't spare the time to go into now, but will in the next letter. I've been suffering, and I use the word in its severest meaning, with what I guess must be hay fever. My nose has been so stopped up that I dream at night of being strangled before I can get awake to use the nose drops. It has lasted for some time now, and there seem to be no other indications of cold to accompany it. I nearly sneeze my head and tail right off, but don't cough, and haven't felt so bad, except for the stopped-up nose and some headache to accompany it. I find that neosynephrine is excellent to open it with. No gagging after effects that some of the other solutions produce. I use the 1% and feel that I can use less with just as good results, and it goes further than to use the lesser solution. It is awfully expensive, though, as Lou can't get it at the base for me without a doctor's prescription, and I have to buy it at fancy retail prices. There have been so many questions unanswered since I've slacked off writing that I can't go into answering them except to tell Jean that if she is sending other film to go ahead and send the first ones of Lewis, as he gets such a big kick out of seeing himself in the movies. We thought the pictures of Frank and sister and Dee and the new little girl are very good, and I compliment the photographer on his efforts. I agree that MJ doesn't look like the other members of the clan, but who knows what that is to her advantage. She surely is a cute little wide-awake girl, and as a friend of mine once said, they should be so well pleased that they'd have several more. I hope that Papa will be able to take some good ones of us, as we've nothing but snapshots for a long time. Yes, Papa, I did make special effort to go to school and take pictures of Lewis's first-grade teacher, the schoolhouse, and all the kids for a memory album, but haven't as yet got them put in, and I must before I lose track of the kids' names. I'm through with the griping about the folks not being on the way, but rather will bide my time until they get here, and then, ooh, look out. All I gotta say is that you'd better bring your long johns, 'cause you're surely going to have to stay the winter, and I aim to see that you do. An old artist friend of Miss Darst's died, I suspect of cancer, and the funeral is this morning, and, as Lou has the duty, and I have the car, I shall have to wind this up very abruptly and take her. I don't intend to go in, but will have to wait and bring her back home, and then there is a sale this afternoon that I'd better go and take a look-see anyway, though there is little advertised in our line. And then, besides that, Clarabelle of the Howdy Doody TV show is down at the amusement park in Willow Grove, and as the sale is just close by, I've committed myself to take Lewis for a look-see as additional bribe for good schoolwork. I know the high and mighty's way. You shouldn't bribe a kid with a promise of something or other to get him to do good schoolwork, but if that is strictly true, I need some lessons myself. Love to all, and more later. Be the good Lord willin'. Love.
And that wasn't signed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because she was in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, yes, this is why I'm like, whatever. She's also with the, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine, they're coming. I'm done. Whatever, I'm done being upset about it. She can't get the fancy nose drops.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Because they had that one.
The one guy.
The one guy at the base was
Who
going
wasn't
to.
sick. They said he was sick.
And he's like, can I please have the nose drops? And they're like, we're going to give you a penicillin shot too.
Yeah.
And then he had a penicillin, and his ankle was
Mm-hmm.
sprained, and that's why he went there and totally forgot all about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, she has to buy her nose drops at the fancy retail prices.
Mm-hmm.
So Lewis didn't want a teacher with glasses. I'm gonna assume that Mrs. Houck had glasses.
I'm gonna guess. Maybe that's what he's associating. Maybe they're angry with the glasses or something.
The glasses are making you not fun. And but his new teacher seems like she's quite nice. So
yeah, she is gonna take a camera and get pictures. I know we do have pictures of the class. I've come across them before. They are not on hand at the moment, but I'm going to look through those so we can get some of because they've been talking about the jerseys and stuff that the boys are wearing, so we can look at some of the fashion of the time. Might see the teacher's picture there as well. She basically lines everybody up against the wall and just goes right down the row. And so there's about there's like 20 or 30 photos. One of the other things is I've had to flatten them. A lot of the photos have become, what's the word? Convex, I guess concave.
They curl up.
Yeah, they really curl up. So I've been like taking lots of photos from the collection and just putting like heavy books on them for a while just to get them to slowly relax and flatten out. It's not like cracking the photos in any way, but it's at least like as a pile, just letting them slowly kind of settle and things like that. But those are in pretty decent shape. I'm really excited that Lewis is in second grade, so he has the opportunity at the end of the year to pass the second grade actually. So that'll be fun.
I knew you were not going to. As soon as you said that, I was like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm. Except she calls out first grade photos, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, she said she got the first grade photos. So I wonder if she got first grade photos and second grade photos. Yeah. But I can't wait to see those. Wait to see those. Those are going to be fun. And especially, like you said, the fashion. Mm-hmm. Because it's very interesting, like the clothes that we've been talking about, like what they have, and I've been looking at stuff, so it'll be really cool to see. And shoes, I just love shoes.
Oh yeah,
so I'm hoping that we'll get to see all that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what else? Okay, so she got to see pictures of the new baby. Mm-hmm. So Frank, her surviving brother, had his fourth child, and so she got to see the little picture of little MJ. Mm-hmm. That's so sweet. And then there's still like the trip is going on because she's like, yes, Papa, I want you to come when you come and you can take pictures of us.
Yeah, like really nice ones for
Yeah.
Lewis, so she can basically repay in kind and send updated photos to her family more than just these little snapshots. And I know what she means. Like, they are little snapshots. When these are developed, they're probably maybe 2 inches by like 3-inch square photos with wide margins. The
Ooh.
ones you see on the screen are very zoomed in. So when we're looking at a picture, it's somewhat deceptive. I'll have to like do a side by side so you can see what the original actually looks like. Technology is so great that we can really, clear up, and we can actually like, can crop it out so it looks like, okay, maybe it's a little blurry, but it's a full photo. No, these are much smaller than index cards. If I hold up an index, actually, that's a great way to think of it. Take an index card, a standard size, cut it in half. That's the size of a photo at the time.
I have some index cards literally right here. Like, here's an index card.
Yeah, so if you half that, that's going to be like what she's talking about, these snapshots. That's about the size of most of these photos. And they have margins around them. Yeah. And that's why she's wanting better produced things. But it must have been some sort of quick photo at the time, or cheap to develop, because they were so small.
Well, and let me ask you this then. So is there any pictures of them, like really nice ones from 52?
There are, but a lot of like it's closer to the end of the year. I think the big ones we see are dated, I think I want to say 53, 54, from like the summer. There's still those snapshot size, but it's like pictures of the whole family at the park with like Dit and everybody, out and about. The picnic kind of photos and stuff like that. Yeah, so we'll be gradually getting those online. The neat thing is those were printed with the date on the back of when they were developed. So we have a pretty good idea of when they're from, because she didn't write who it was, but luckily we know mostly who everybody is in these photos. And it's like, okay. And then I wait for like, where's the letter? Because this is the development date. So it's like, it could have been developed a couple months later, but I'm like, I know this scene. It was in this letter over here. They're here doing this thing. This has to be that, so it takes time to sort of basically marry up the photo to where it belongs. And they could be older rolls of film too, that she's stumbling into like 2 years later and being like, oh, I didn't get this thing developed.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, that scene didn't happen. I think so things like that. Like, when did that scene happen? And you can tell from the kids sort of like, okay, if like Dit's third child is like a baby completely, it's like, okay, this has to be 52. So it's all this little detective work with photos. But yeah, we do have one of the classes for sure. And I'll
definitely want to see those.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely want to see those. And it's really, like you said, like it's going to be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, then we have the next letter to go into. Oh, the thing at the end of this letter, Darst going to the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is going to continue into the next letter. We're going to get more Miss Darst. If it's been a little while since we had a good dose of Darst, we've had little pieces of Darst. We're going to get it in the next letter.
363 North Main Street, Doylestown, Pennsylvania, September 13th, 1952. Dear Mama and Papa, Sisters, Florence, Franks, Jean, and Glenn. I've been promising a better answer to the letters I've received and left unanswered. I don't promise this will be a good answer, but it will be something for Mama to carry home with her anyway. I received both Papa's and Jean's letters with the newspaper clippings of Larry Gatewood's accidental death, and was much shocked and saddened to read it. I have only an idea of how Dorothy Gatewood must feel, but I surely am sorry for them. I suppose I should write her a note, but find that kind of letter extremely hard to write, and like other things, am inclined to put it off, and in the end not do it at all. It seems hard to believe he was 15 years old, but when I stop to think, M.A. is frightfully close to that point, and feel it only goes to prove the old adage, that goes something about eternal vigilance being the price of safety. And I feel we ought to tighten up on our own kids in some of their activities, as it may save us and then some future sadness, though it may seem unnecessary at the time. How often people look back and say, if I'd only done this, or if I'd only not done that, and while we are punished mentally and in our anguish of the moment, a little foresight might have saved it all. That is one reason we have already told Lewis that even though he hoards his money and has enough to buy a two-wheeler, he just positively cannot have it until he is older than 10, as the hazards of this town's traffic are such that I too might be saying if only I hadn't let him have it. On the other hand, I very likely am leaning over backwards, but I do try to find a medium that isn't too free a rein and yet not too strong a halter. Keeps me busy, too.
This is very concerning. Apparently somebody that they knew lost their son. That's what it seems like, because he was 15 years old. So I'm assuming that that's his mother or his sister or something. But so and you were able to find the articles, maybe even the one that Sweetie looked at.
Yeah, and we suspect this appeared in a number of papers across Iowa, the tragedy that happened out there. And we suspect the paper we're going to bring up is the one that Jean would have, because it's specifically the Des Moines one, and Lacona is close enough to Des Moines. Some of the others were further out. But everybody was basically covering this news. This appeared in the Des Moines Tribune, September 11th on page 10. Crashes take 4 more lives. 4 more Iowans were dead Thursday as a result of accidents on the state's highways, bringing the total so far this year to 378. Last year, the total on the state was 410. Among these reported is Larry Lee Gatewood from Delta, 15. Now, Delta is significant. This is going to be, actually, it's very interesting. It's from Delta. Sweetie went to Delta High School. This is prior to Lacona. So this would be sort of when she was in high school, the people that she knew, because we know the families moved around a lot. So this is probably right before the Lacona days, where she was for at least like a couple of years, because we do have her homemade yearbooks from Delta High School. With Gatewood, further on in the article, it says, young Gatewood was found dead Thursday morning beside his father's wrecked pickup truck on a county road 4 miles southwest of Delta. The truck had gone over a 25-foot embankment and crashed into a tree. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. John Gatewood, we know, of course, the mother's most likely the Dorothy that's referenced in the letter, thought he was spending the night with a friend in the country. He is believed to have lost control of the truck.
Oh, goodness. He was probably driving at night. I mean,
as a 15-year-old.
A 15, but this is country,
right?
Okay, so I guarantee you that boy was. I guarantee you that boy was driving truck when he was like 10, because it's country. That's how it works. Yeah. So so he probably was like either driving there at night. It must have been at night, and maybe a deer or something. Oh, that is so tragic. Oh, now we see like where Sweetie's coming from.
Yeah, just really sad. And it causes her to reflect, of course, on Lewis getting a bicycle. Yeah, I think that's fair.
It is. That is, yeah. I mean, she's being careful because of stuff like this. But now, speaking of Lewis, we're going to learn how he's doing in school.
Lewis is pleased with school, and I naturally am pleased. I guess you will be too. I am somewhat surprised that he has homework to do in the 2nd grade, but it isn't much and presents no hardship to speak of. He brings home spelling words to write 3 times apiece, prints them, I should say, and I find his printing is improving almost daily, and as his general attitude is good, I don't see how he can help but do better work, and he very obviously likes his teacher, and from the things he tells me, she must obviously like him too. Last night, for the first time, we found a little boy, who lives on North Main Street, too, but up towards town a considerable hop. Well, I thought he looked older than Lewis, and so asked him how old he was, and what grade he was in. He is 8, and in Lewis's grade at school, and here Lewis has yet to have his 7th birthday. To the best of my knowledge, he is the youngest kid in his class. He is getting into addition now, and seems to like it, though he, just as I used to do, uses his fingers to arrive at the answer. He says they have an abacus, though he doesn't call it that, at school to use in the counting. I try not to interfere too much, as I wonder if I didn't do that to his detriment last year. I am seriously considering a party at school for him again this year, as it is a simpler solution since Miss Darst resists the idea of kids around the house, and if the weather should be bad and they had to be in the house, just how in the world would we manage all the antiques and knickknacks laying around? I can get away cheaper than I did last year, as there are only 29 in his class, as against the 36 of last year, and I figure Dixie cups and cupcakes won't come to $5. I shall have to talk it over with Mrs. Haldeman, and get her permission, but don't think she'd object. I've picked out a small box and put all his papers into it as they come home. The 1st grade box is pretty well filled up, and put away for sorting and assembly into yearly work, and so I'm starting this 2nd year's work too. I shall make it a point to go and take pictures, as I did last year, but feel that as far as the school is concerned, that Jean's movies far top anything that I could get in stills. I took pictures of each child and the teacher also, and for the most part, they are all good. Of course, there were a few squirrels and egg beaters in the group, but what can you expect? I must answer some of Mama's and Papa's questions, and also Lou has given me orders to beg for some walnut lumber, if it is to be had. We found an old walnut base of what was probably a Welsh dresser or Dutch open cupboard. It has wonderful old butterfly hinges and is made of heavy walnut. The top is practically gone, and we need some walnut that should be land 1/8 to 1¼ inches thick, 40 inches long, and as wide as it is possible to get. That is a tall order, but I guess we can dream, can't we? This piece is so nice and so old that we are going to keep it for ourselves. Lou, to my surprise, agreed that we could add it to our own collection, and I'm delighted. Perhaps we can find something to use to replace the top, even though it would naturally be a married piece. We find that with good weather and the kids getting settled into school again, that our stoppers and lookers are increasing again. I sold an $8 ship's lamp that was really unusual and a real beauty for $15 the other day. A pair of pewter salt and pepper shakers that we got in some junk for $1. Lou sold a nice old brass match holder that we got for less than $1 for $4.50, and a 75-cent oil lamp for $2. And there have been other sales, too, that I don't need to go into here, but I must remember to get them marked down in my book. About the bedroom article that Mama bought, if it is the kind resembling the small ones of today, that is to say, if it looks like a left-handed teacup, as they are delicately described here, she paid a great plenty for it. But if it is tall, like the portable white rabbit she has, and has some decor on it, as well as a lid, she did all right on it. At any rate, it won't hurt to bring it along, and let us see what it is. Lou and I haven't talked over the bell yet, but I wonder if it won't make your load pretty heavy to bring it along. Perhaps it would be better to store it for us until we get our pickup, and can make a buying trip out there, and we can get it then. That will be sometime in the dim and distant future, for the good Lord only knows when we'll be able to buy a pickup, but that is our fond daydream right now. I'll write you more about the bell in the next letter. Does it have a clapper? A sort of rack or mount to hold it, as it is hung on the pole? Mama, I pay 40 to 45 cents per dozen for nice big fresh eggs that are cracked. Some of them are small, and some of them are double yolkers, and are delivered right to the front door on Fridays or Saturday mornings by the farmer lady friend of mine, and they are nice too. My refrigerator is too small to store many eggs, though the cave might be all right when it gets a little colder, the cave is moist and warm at this stage of the weather. But we might be able to use them fast enough to keep them from growing stale. I'm going to wait till you come to get the jersey shirts you want, unless you want me to buy them and send them to you now for gifts or some such. I am waiting anxiously to hear from Jean about the few things I sent her. I didn't get the bras, and have small hope of getting them from this particular stall, though might later. I think you'd not find the wide-striped shirts objectionable, and I particularly like them bright and gay. It rubs off on the kids' disposition, and as they are a popular style, I'm tempted to get some and see if you don't like them just as well. I can't get boxer-type shorts for the boys, but would like to suggest what my lady calls midways for boys. They are knit jockey shorts with legs that come about halfway to their knees. I bought Louis 2 pair recently, and he tried them out while the weather was unusually cold and just loved them. I only got 2 pair as I didn't know about sizes and washing, but Louis just complained bitterly when I had to take them off to go to the laundry, and when it turned warm, he went back to the summer ones, but he thinks they are wonderful, and I wonder if they wouldn't be good for the little boys for winter instead of the boxer type. I can buy 4 pair of knitted panties for girls, double body and triple crotch for 4 pair for $1, and would be glad to send some on trial to anyone who needs them if I knew what size to buy. I don't know why all of you from Sister on through Florence and Maida are so slow about writing about these things, but I hesitate to buy them for fear you've already gone out and bought a bunch of them for school, and yet they seem like good buys to me. I can also get undershirts if you need them. Now, there are pajamas coming in that I haven't bought, but it is a thought anyway. As the cave has been warm, I'm buying potatoes in small amounts, 5 pounds for 35 cents, I think was the last I bought. We don't use much honey. Lou doesn't care much for it, and I can't use it up before it goes to sugar. I've some like that now, and am waiting for you to come with your experience to tell me what to do about it. Ignorant, aren't I?
Okay. Wow, this was a huge thing, right? So they got something, they want wood from Chester. That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's really wonderful. And Lou was like, yeah, let's keep it. And she's like, yay. What? Okay. I talked about this with Allison beforehand, and this is just, you know how things stick in your craw, you just can't get rid of it? This is it. So apparently Laura bought something.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, about the bedroom article that Mama bought, if it is the kind resembling the small ones of today. And I'm like, is this a bedpan?
Yeah, we can't figure it out.
I can't figure it out, and it's driving me nuts. And so she says, the bedroom article, and honestly, she's trying to be very delicate about it, which makes me think that it is something to do with
something women's
relieving
feminine
yourself.
hygiene, something like that. Thing. Yeah, not sure.
That cat.
I know. Yeah. Audio listeners, I have a very entertaining cat with a very interesting dapple of color on his nose. Wow. And now he's on the chair.
He just is like, okay, maybe
now he's on a windowsill that does not have a window seat on it. So now he's trying to balance himself, and either we're going to hear a crash here in the moment as he, decides to jump to the floor, or he's going to return back over the chair and go back to where he was just sitting.
That's really funny, though.
Probably just going to leave this in for our YouTube viewers, because I know we all have animals and they're crazy sometimes. And now he's like tightrope walking on the windowsill. Yeah, that's not working out, buddy, is it? That plan was not a good plan.
There's no mistakes, Miss Allison. There's no mistakes, only choices and lessons.
Franz, get down. That's not a good idea. And now he's back on the desk, as predicted. What are you doing? And now he's about to probably go right across the screen. You're probably going to see a tail going by as he goes. Make up your mind.
You can't narrate what because he hears you and he's like, no, I'm not going to do those things.
No, I'm not going to do this. And now he's over there.
Anyway.
He hasn't made an appearance in a while.
So he was like standing right next to you, like at your shoulder. And I was like, it's like a TV interviewer, like a journalist or something. And then somebody comes and just stands right next to
What are you going to do?
Okay. So, but this is really, really bugging me about this bedroom item. And I don't think that we're going to ever find out about it. But I'm going to just go ahead and say that it's probably a bedpan, like a really fancy ceramic bedpan with a lid.
Yeah, something old from like the 19th century from the Midwest. We just don't know.
See, there she said, but if it is tall like the portable white rabbit she has, I'm like, what is that?
What is
Please
that
tell
thing?
me.
Right?
What are these
talking about? Yeah,
I don't think we're going to hear about it, but if anybody has any insight. And then we talk about the underwear again. Like, she's seriously on this. She keeps talking like, don't you guys want me to buy you
These
underwear?
Are good deals. Really good deals. Everybody needs this.
And I think the midways she's talking about are like boxer briefs.
I think
like
so.
They're like the underwear with like so like that was back in the 50s. They had boxer briefs, but they do seem to be something new that she doesn't know about. But yeah, she really, really wants to buy underwear for everybody, and nobody wants her to buy underwear for them. I don't know why.
She's been talking about this on too many letters. Yeah,
I know. She brings it up every single time. I swear.
Yeah,
but it's fine. It's cute. But I'm very excited. She did talk about getting pictures, and I think you had said this too. I'm very excited about her getting to see the pictures of his class and getting to see the kind of clothes and stuff that they were wearing.
Yeah.
Hopefully the teacher too. That'd be really fun.
I think we do have some of Lewis's older report cards. There is a box with things from all the school years. I don't know if she kept everything, but I'm going to see if I can pull out some items from 1st and 2nd grade. We'll see if they're in there. So I'm on the hunt for those items. And
then the last thing, she uses the M word to describe the cave, and I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that word.
It's got a weird diphthong. It's just not a great word.
No, but it's okay. It's apt. I just don't, I have a personal aversion to it, which is fine. And then she talks about, this is really funny about the, I guess they were talking about, what can we bring you? Can we bring you honey? Can we bring you eggs? Can we bring you anything? And she said the honey is sugaring. All you got to do is warm it up.
Ah.
Yeah, like if it goes to sugar.
I barely ever have honey, so I wouldn't know either.
I've been using it more because we don't really like use corn syrup and stuff like that. So I like use honey, and I just made a cucumber salad with honey, and it was so good.
Ooh, that sounds
But
good.
if honey doesn't go bad. Honey is the only food that does not go bad ever. Like they found honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that's still, I wouldn't eat it, but it's still good.
It's probably still good, yeah.
But if it goes to sugar, usually just get a warm bowl of water and you can melt it, or I put mine outside the other day. I was like, it's nice enough outside.
Yeah.
Let's throw it outside. So yeah, so she's like, oh, what do you do about that? Just warm it up. Yeah. But yeah, so that was the first half of her I'm not writing a long letter.
Yeah, after this is dated the same date as the other letter where she said she didn't have time to write letters and then said sales were down, now sales are back. It's like, wait a minute, there have been some. I think that's what she kind of did there. It's just curious that she had the two letters back to back like that. She was kind of cruising along there for a few weeks. She was in a good mood. Now I feel like she's kind of more frantic. She's running around because of the beginning of school. And that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And so she's a little disconnected at the moment. But yeah, this second half of this letter, this is going to be some good stuff.
Sounds as though Brother Bill has done himself up right smart on the new kitchen edition from what Mama writes, and I compliment him long distance for his efforts and be assured that Sister will thank you every meal she cooks in it. I remember it as being about as convenient as ours is now, and that doesn't speak well either for yours or ours. I comfort myself these days while I'm cussing this one, that some day, be the good Lord willin', and I live long enough, that ours will be improved too. I wonder if I'll ever live that long. I will say, though, that Lou has worked hard on the outside of the house, and we have the front half of the south side all chipped and pointed, and it looks fine too. We have the front half from the front door to the right or south, all chipped and pointed. But the left half from the front door north is still covered with the cement, and presents a study in contrast, to be sure. We aren't sure we'll be able to get that half done this fall yet, as there is much needs doing to slow down the breezes that nearly blew us off the chairs last winter, and, in keeping with that idea, Lou has cemented around one window, and made a storm window by improvising some we found cheap at a sale, and it is bound to be a big help. There are others that need tending to, and his time at home is limited, what with sales to attend, and refinishing, etc. Miss Darst, who was so opposed to the whole idea, is now bragging as to what she's having done to the house, and the other day, while she was talking to a woman, she said, "Well, that, whatever it was, I've forgotten, was before I had the central heat installed." Well, la-di-da, and she is the very one who aggravated the heater man till he said he'd walk out without finishing the job if we didn't get her off his neck. She made up her mind she was going to go to the flower show and garden tour put on by the local nature club, and was so determined that she said she was going to hire a car if I wouldn't be able to take her. Well, we did some juggling of the car, and then after taking her, I had to go down to the base at 11:30 to get Lou at night. And she didn't make any effort to pay me for the car or my services at all. 1 or 2 times she slipped and said she was just bound and determined she'd make us take her. And then suddenly remembering that I was right at hand to take it all in, she said, "And Mrs. Graham was good enough to bring me." She forgot and greeted people over and over again, each time saying how long it had been since she'd seen them, and all that. And when it came time to introduce me, she either couldn't remember their name, my name, and more often than not, introduced me as Mrs. Eisenhower, egad and gadzooks, and me a Democrat. She was writing to Brower Murphy the other day, and was apparently telling him what we were doing to the house, and when she wanted to say what Mr. Graham was doing, she couldn't remember Graham, and called Lewin from his work outside to ask him what his name was. She's afraid if we put storm windows on, and chink up the cracks, that she won't get enough fresh air. That's what made her live so long, you know, and now she's worrying about that. I told her I didn't think the time would ever come when we didn't get more winter air than we had any need for. I wrote you, didn't I? That she wanted to dry a pair of stockings a few days ago, and so plugged in the little hot plate she uses to heat water on in the mornings, and forgot to pick up her electric iron. The cord and hard rubber handle caught fire, and the room was so thick with smoke before we found it that I thought sure the whole house was afire. Then she started her hysterical half-cry that is her stock in trade and kept shouting, "Open a window! Open a window!" I tried, but it was stuck with the last few days' rain, and when I came up under it with a put my hand right through the window. Ah me, there's nothing dull around here. Not satisfied with that, though the handle was largely burnt off in the back. She has been heating the iron on the hot plate to press out something, and it has so provoked me that I sent Lou up to get it and see if he could fix it, and now it has accidentally gotten misplaced. Isn't that too bad? It isn't safe for her to repeat the process, and I hate to be bunting the windows out anyway. Well, I can't hope to answer Jean's letters, as it is practically time for Louis to be coming home from school for lunch, and I've used up all my time anyway, so we'll have to stop for the time being. Papa, I'll write out that list and get it off perhaps tomorrow. When I sit down determined to write it out for you, I can't remember a thing, but as I work along, I think of something I want and can't get it written down in a hurry. I'm getting old, too. I hear Miss Darst downstairs rattling dishes, and I'd better see what is going on. We're using a handleless sugar bowl now, along with the handleless cups and cracked saucers. That isn't half as bad, in my estimation, as to take up food and dishes still carrying traces of the meal before, because she has washed the dishes so they won't be left sitting too long. Well, as Louis and I say, la-di-da. Elizabeth and G-Mom are still at the shore, and I'll bet they wish they'd stood at home.
This cat's insisting on being in this episode today.
He likes the stuff about Miss Darst.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So
say bye, friends. Getting down. Okay.
So we knew Sister was getting her kitchen redone. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
We knew Sister was getting her kitchen redone, and that's all done. That's nice. Then she calls him Brother Bill.
Yeah.
That's just, I like to sometimes occasionally catch up in case people don't know. Sweetie, that's her sister, is Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And Lou also has a sister named Elizabeth. That's fun. And so Sweetie's old, and she's the oldest, right?
Yeah. Yeah. She's the eldest of all of the Demery kids.
And she's married to Bill. And they have 4 kids.
Yep.
Which is really lovely. And so he does actually do work, he does construction and stuff, doesn't he? So he was able to do their kitchen, which was really nice. And so she talks about what they're doing with their house too, because they did have a problem with the air. It was really cold last winter. And you had mentioned this too, at this time of year, you're and I mean, I think all of us we're oh, fall's coming. Oh, I got to prep the house. I got to make sure I get these projects done because I'm not going to want to do it in the winter. So she seemed in the last episode, I think it was. Yeah, in the last episode, she kind of was oh, Miss Darst is Miss Darst, and I really need to. And this episode, she's well, but she almost caught the house on fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness. And apparently, remember how she was claiming, I can't do it. Like I said, I can't do it. It was my idea to fill in the well.
Oh, yeah.
And she was super against it.
As soon as the compliments start from the neighbors, it's oh, well, really? It's been a while. This has been long in coming. This was always being planned. 100% now.
I'm pretty sure that anybody she talks to realizes that this is the way she is.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Totally. You got the central air installed. That was a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I'm going to tell you right now, she does this on purpose. The whole, I don't remember your name.
Everything.
That is totally intentional. She absolutely knows what their names are. And then she knew that it would get underneath Sweetie's skin if she called her Mrs. Eisenhower.
Yep. And then this letter ends with Sweetie punching her fist through a window.
Right?
Just I don't want to be bunting what did she say about bunting the windows? I love how I hate to be bunting the windows out anyway. Great.
I'm hoping she didn't tear up her hand.
Sure she did. Yeah. That
Unreal.
had to have happened.
And she didn't even mention any of that. Oh my gosh, no, I can't do anything now. She's I
can't with this cat.
Franz is in the background for our audio listeners. Fine. Her cat is in the background chasing his own tail.
Yep.
Which kind of has actually a great feel for this episode because that's kind of what it feels like right
now. Yeah, exactly. I did want to talk about the house some more. So I actually brought up the Love Sweetie podcast website on the other screen here. And this is in the photo galleries at 363 North Main Street, because she gives a really clear update as to how the pointing work is going at this point in time. And she's also talking about, we're going to have to put a stop to this, and continue on. So what I have a picture here is the one labeled 363 North Main Street. This is from that winter of 1952, before this work is being done. And if you're looking towards the house where the porch is, which today is now gone for anybody walking around Doylestown, everything to the right has been completed for the first floor and around the corner a ways. So, but yeah, that's what we're talking about, is that main stone structure. Not the second floor. If you didn't listen to a previous episode, the second floor is brick. They're not doing that work on the second floor. So it's going to be first floor around the corner. That's the south side of the house. And then that north side, I mean, you can even see the direction the snow's coming down. They're going to let that alone for now. On the other side.
This is a lovely picture of it, and it kind of gives you an idea of like where they have one side of the house and she even said it's a nice study in contrast, which I thought was really lovely. I love the way that she put that.
And we were talking earlier in the episode about the photos, the snapshots. This photo is one of those snapshot photos. So the original photo of this is about an inch by like an inch and a half. So you wouldn't be able to really tell it, other than you see how it's like a little blurry. Yeah, I mean, it's got wide margins and it's in the center of that. And you can see it's like a little blurry and be like, I don't know about the quality. That's what that was. Wow. So I love modern technology that we can really, get into these photos a bit more and see more of the content than they could see when they took them.
Oh, and then she ends the letter. You remember our last episode, she wrote to Jean first. Because whenever she writes these family letters, and she mentions it here, I can't hope to answer Jean's letters. So Jean got the short end of the stick again with this one. So you can tell she kind of had it together last episode, and this episode she's definitely just like Franz, somersaulting around on the floor after his tail.
Yeah.
But these are nice ones today.
They are. Yeah.
So that was the end of that one. And we will keep our fingers crossed that one day, eventually, in 1952, Chester and Laura will make their way to Doylestown.
See you next week.